Hello guys, welcome back. My name is Praveen Kumar Sriram. I'm a Microsoft Certified Trainer, author, currently working as a Solutions Architect in Azure. Today we are going to discuss about one of the nice features related to Azure Bicep, wherein we publish or deploy the Bicep modules to a private container registry. Before we get started, the reason for making this video is one of our subscribers has commented and was requesting to upload a video on how to containerize the Bicep modules using Docker containers. That's the reason why we are doing this. Let's get started. Let's take a real world scenario where, let's say, you're working for a team or a business unit, let's say business unit 1. In order to provision infrastructure using Bicep, one of the best practices for reusability is to use Bicep modules. As you can see here, there are three Bicep modules. The first one is app service, then storage and database. These three modules have been created because the request was to create these Azure resources, and these three modules are being invoked from the main file of business unit 1. Now once this module development is complete, you will deploy them and these resources will be created. Now you are just part of business unit 1. Let's say there is a separate unit within the same organization called business unit 2, for which they have separate platform engineers who are responsible for building Bicep modules. They also follow the best practices and they also create their own Bicep modules. Right now, here you see duplicate work. The platform engineers working in two different business units are working on silos. They are not reusing. That's duplicate of work. Now, the ideal approach is instead of having two different copies of Bicep modules, we should just have one copy of all common Bicep modules that should support all business units. In this slide, you see two business units. However, there could be many other business units within the organizations. Now we need to follow a architecture wherein the Bicep modules are common for everyone and are reusable across all the business units in the organization. That's the recommended approach that should be taken when you want to build reusable components for various business units within the organization. Now, definitely this is possible and supported by Bicep. So this can be achieved by deploying all the reusable common Bicep modules into something called as private registry. Azure has a service called Azure Container Registry, which can be used to host these common Bicep modules, and then all business units can invoke these modules and by passing their own parameters. As you can see here, business unit 1 has its own main file. Business Unit 2 has its own main file, which will invoke the Bicep modules that they require, and we just have one single set of Bicep modules deployed in container registry. Now, let's understand the architecture of container registry. As you can see here, we just need to start with creating a container registry, and container registry has components starting with repositories. So in general, container registry host containers, basically Docker containers, and now they support hosting Bicep modules as well. As you can see here, Bicep module is also a repository. Don't get confused with Git repositories. The terminology is same, but they serve different purpose. So here, as you can see, the Bicep module contains multiple parts: app service, storage, and database. These are three different modules that we can deploy into Bicep modules repository. And each repo can contain multiple versions. As you can see, app service has two versions, V1 and V2. Right? So now when you follow this private registry architecture, the main advantage that you get is you can keep adding versions for your Bicep code. So maintaining versions will provide backward compatibility to the business units wherein they get a flexibility of picking the appropriate version. Okay. For example, currently in our previous slides, we have seen two business units. The first business unit might have different requirements, and the second business unit might have different requirements for the same app service. Okay. In order to be flexible in supporting different requirements for two business units, we can have different versions of the code in Bicep module and deploy them as two different versions. That way, different requirements can be achieved with the help of this versioning. Okay. So that's it for this video. I will see you in next video wherein we'll start creating Azure Container Registry using Bicep. Thank you guys. See you in the next video. Bye bye.